Speak to Win, Mastering the Art of Powerful Public Speaking by Brian Tracy. Introduction. Why speaking is the ultimate skill. Imagine standing before an audience, whether it's a boardroom, a classroom, a Zoom meeting, or a crowd of 1,000, and speaking with such clarity, conviction, and confidence that people are hanging on your every word. This is not a fantasy. It's a learnable skill. And in this audiobook, based on the principles of Speak to Win by Brian Tracy, you will discover exactly how to become the kind of speaker who commands respect, inspires action, and never has to fear the spotlight again. Because make no mistake, public speaking is the ultimate power skill. It opens doors, accelerates careers, builds your personal brand, and boosts your self-worth like few other abilities can. In every profession, in every industry, in every walk of life, those who rise to the top are those who can speak well. Not just casually. Not just clearly. But powerfully. Whether you're leading a team, pitching a product, teaching a lesson, or motivating a crowd, your ability to communicate effectively defines your impact. Brian Tracy, the world-renowned success coach and speaker, puts it simply. Your ability to speak to an audience is essential to your success. He tells the story of a quiet, overlooked employee, passed up for promotions, ignored in meetings, and tired of blending into the background. One day, this man decided enough was enough. He joined Toastmasters. He took a Dale Carnegie course. He practiced, stumbled, improved, and practiced again. 6 months later, a sudden emergency gave him a shot, a scheduled speaker got sick, and he stepped up. He delivered the presentation. He won the client. And his entire career trajectory changed. He didn't just become a better speaker. He became a leader. That's the power of public speaking. It's not about charisma. It's about clarity. It's not about being the loudest voice in the room. It's about being the most persuasive, the most prepared, and the most impactful. And the best part? This skill is not reserved for a chosen few. It's not genetic. It's not luck. It's learnable. Through repetition, reflection, and the right strategies, you can master the art of public speaking and transform your confidence, your career, and your life. In this audiobook, you will learn how to eliminate fear and self-doubt before you speak, how to prepare and structure your presentations for maximum clarity and impact, how to use voice, tone, body language, and space like a professional, how to influence, persuade, and inspire any audience, from small groups to massive crowds, and how to end your speeches with a bang that leaves them wanting more. You'll discover the 4 Ds of speaking excellence: desire, decision, discipline, and determination, and how to embed them into your journey as a communicator. You'll explore techniques used by ancient orators and modern CEOs. You'll unlock the secrets to overcoming anxiety, handling tough crowds, and owning the room. So if you've ever felt the nerves rise before a presentation, if you've ever held back from sharing your ideas, if you know you have something to say, but you're unsure how to say it with impact, then this audiobook is for you. The journey starts now. Hit the subscribe button and let's step onto the stage. Let's speak to win. Chapter 1: The Arts of Speaking and Rhetoric. Great speaking has never been about filling time. It's about creating change. Inspiring someone to take action they wouldn't have taken otherwise. Changing how people think, how they feel, and ultimately, how they behave. Public speaking is the art of influence. Centuries ago, a young Greek statesman named Demosthenes stood at the edge of the sea, shouting against the crashing waves. He placed pebbles in his mouth to overcome a stutter. Why? Because he understood one thing. To lead, you must learn to speak. It's no surprise, then, that the greatest leaders in history, from Lincoln to Churchill, from Mandela to MLK, mastered the spoken word. Not to sound clever, but to move people. Brian Tracy reminds us, the ultimate goal of public speaking is not to impress, it's to inspire action. Like the Greek comparison he shares. When Demosthenes spoke, they said, "What a brilliant speaker!" But when Alcibiades spoke, they said, "Let us march!" So how do you get people to march? It begins with understanding the three pillars of all persuasive communication. Wisdom passed down from Aristotle himself. Logos. Ethos. Pathos. Logos, the logic behind your words. Logos is the logical side of your message, the facts, evidence, numbers, and reasoning that support your point. When your words are ordered, rational, and build upon each other like bricks in a wall, you create what Aristotle called sound reasoning. Every presentation, from a sales pitch to a TED Talk, needs logos. It gives your ideas weight. But logic alone isn't enough. People don't just act because something makes sense. They act because something matters. That brings us to the second pillar. Ethos, the credibility you carry. Ethos is your ethic, your character, your credibility, your trustworthiness. When people believe in you, they are more likely to believe in your message. This doesn't come from a title or a degree, it comes from how you show up. Are you authentic? Prepared? Do you speak with integrity? Brian Tracy teaches that your ethos begins before you even say a word. It's in how you dress, how you carry yourself, how confidently you begin. When your audience sees you as competent, honest, and aligned with their values, you've built the bridge of trust. And with that trust in place, you can finally speak to the heart. Pathos, the emotion that moves people. Pathos is the emotional power behind your words. The feeling in your message. Because no matter how rational people think they are moved to action by emotion. Pathos is the story that stirs empathy. The vivid example that sparks imagination. The moment of silence that touches the soul. Think of the most powerful speeches in history. I have a dream. Ask not what your country can do for you. They weren't just logical. They were deeply emotional. So when you build your message, remember. Logic tells. Ethics sells. But emotion compels. Morabian's 3 elements of communication. Now that you understand what to say, let's look at how to say it. Professor Albert Morabian, from UCLA, conducted a groundbreaking study on communication. He found that the impact of your message comes from 3 sources: your words, your tone of voice, and your body language. And here's the shocking part. Words account for only 7% of your message. Tone of voice? That's 38%. But body language? A massive 55%. That means, it's not just what you say. It's how you say it. Let's break it down. Words, 7%. Yes, the words you choose matter. But not as much as you think. Words are your foundation. They must be clear, concise, and compelling. But alone, they're like sheet music without the performance. Tone of voice, 38%. Try saying, I didn't say you stole the money. Now say it again, but put the emphasis on a different word each time. I didn't say you stole the money. I didn't say you stole the money. I didn't say you stole the money. Each one means something different. That's the power of tonality. Your voice can express authority, or uncertainty, passion, or indifference. Learn to control your tone, and you control the message. Body language, 55%. Your body never lies. When your arms are open, your hands relaxed, your stance strong, you invite trust. When your face is tense, arms crossed, eyes dodging, you push people away. Brian Tracy puts it perfectly. Your face is the most important visual in your presentation. So smile. Pause. Make eye contact. Let your posture reflect confidence, even before you speak. Bringing it all together. When you combine these 3 elements, logos, ethos, and pathos, and deliver them through the right words, tone, and body language, you become unforgettable. Not because you said something clever, but because you connected. You made people feel seen, heard, and understood. You made them believe. This is the art of public speaking, not just to inform, but to influence. Not just to present, but to persuade. In the next chapter, we'll break down the planning and preparation that separates amateurs from masters, and how you can prepare every speech to win over any audience. Chapter 2: Planning and Preparation Made Simple. Great speeches are not written. They're engineered. Just like a masterpiece painting or an elegant skyscraper, a great presentation begins with careful planning and precise design. Brian Tracy is crystal clear about this. 90% of your success as a speaker comes from how well you prepare. Know your audience, demographics and psychographics. Every speech begins with one essential question. Who is my audience? Before you write a single word, before you choose a story or a stat, you need to know who's in the room and what they care about. Start with demographics. How old are they? Are they mostly men, women, or a mix? What's their job title, income level, or education background? Speaking to a room full of senior engineers is different from addressing a team of high school coaches. And delivering to a group of new sales reps is different from motivating a board of directors. But don't stop there. Dig deeper into psychographics, the inner landscape. What are their goals and fears? What problems are they trying to solve? What values drive them? Imagine you're speaking to financial advisors. Demographically, they may be mid-career professionals, ages 30 to 55. But psychographically? They want credibility. They want to retain clients. They fear being seen as out of touch in a changing economy. That emotional insight changes how you speak. The PrEP formula, a speaker's blueprint. Once you understand your audience, it's time to organize your thoughts. One of Brian Tracy's favorite tools is the PrEP formula: short, simple, and powerfully effective. P. Point of view. Start by clearly stating your opinion or key point. R. Reason. Explain why you believe it. E. Example. Illustrate your point with a story, stat, or analogy. R. Restate the point. Circle back and drive it home. Here's how it works. This is the best time in history to start your own business. Why? Because we live in a time of low barriers, high connectivity, and unlimited tools. Just last year, over 1 million Americans started a new business, many of them from their homes, using nothing but a laptop and an idea. So again, this is the best time in history to launch your dream. That's PrEP in action. Crisp. Structured. Memorable. The circles method, designing your flow. Now, imagine a blank sheet of paper. Draw 5 big circles down the center. Circle 1, your opening, the hook, the grab, the attention magnet. Circles 2 to 4, your main points, organized, ordered, each building on the last. Circle 5, your conclusion, the summary, the takeaway, the call to action. This is the circles method, a visual way to build your talk, from introduction to impact. When you lay out your content like this, you can clearly see whether your argument flows or whether it wanders. Bonus tip? Write your main points on index cards and shuffle through them during rehearsal. You'll see what sticks and what needs tightening. The windshield wiper method, left brain, right brain. Want to keep your audience fully engaged? Activate both sides of their brain. Here's how the windshield wiper method works. Swipe left, you share a fact, a stat, a key idea. Swipe right, you follow it with a story, a metaphor, or a quote. Left brain loves data. Right brain loves drama. You say, 70% of communication is nonverbal. Swipe left. That's why when JFK walked onto stage in 1961, he didn't say a word for the first 15 seconds. He just smiled, connected, and stood tall. Swipe right. This back and forth rhythm keeps your talk dynamic, and your listeners alert. Visual aids and PowerPoint pitfalls. Now let's talk visuals, especially the most misunderstood of them all, PowerPoint. Here's a truth few admit. Most speakers hide behind their slides. PowerPoint was meant to support your message, not replace it. Ever sat through a talk where someone put up a slide with 10 bullet points, 8 graphs, and a sea of numbers? They click. They talk. They read what's already on screen. And the audience? Eyes glazed. Interest gone. This is what Brian Tracy calls death by PowerPoint. So, what's the fix? Follow the 5x5 rule. No more than 5 lines per slide. No more than 5 words per line. 1 point at a time. 1 idea per slide. Bring up bullet points as you speak, not all at once. And remember, you are the star. Your face, your voice, your energy, that's what moves people. If your audience is staring at the screen more than they're watching you, you've lost them. Key takeaways: plan to win. Let's recap what we've learned in this chapter. 1. Know your audience, not just their stats, but their story. 2. Use the PrEP formula to craft powerful points. 3. Map your speech using the circles method for flow. 4. Engage both sides of the brain with the windshield wiper method. 5. Use PowerPoint to support, not distract, and keep you front and center. The difference between a mediocre talk and a masterpiece is not luck. It's not natural talent. It's preparation. Brian Tracy says, "The more you plan and prepare, the more confident you become." So grab your pen. Open your mind. Because in the next chapter, we'll tackle the number 1 enemy of every speaker: fear. Chapter 3: Self-confidence and mental mastery. You feel your heart pounding. Your mouth goes dry. Your hands sweat. You're about to speak, and suddenly your brain says, "Run." Sound familiar? If so, you're not alone. The fear of public speaking, also known as glossophobia, consistently ranks as one of the top human fears, often higher than the fear of heights, snakes, even death. As Jerry Seinfeld famously joked, at a funeral, most people would rather be in the coffin than delivering the eulogy. But here's the truth. That fear? It's not fixed. It's not permanent. It's learned, and it can be unlearned. In fact, Brian Tracy puts it this way: all fears are learned, and what's learned can be unlearned through action. So in this chapter, we'll walk you through how to eliminate fear, build mental mastery, and develop the kind of confidence that transforms you from hesitant to powerful. Where does the fear come from? Public speaking anxiety is not just nerves. It's a form of psychological survival instinct, rooted in the fear of being judged, rejected, or ridiculed. That fear often traces back to childhood criticism, being told to be quiet, sit still, or worse, being laughed at when we spoke up. Over time, the brain learns that speaking in front of others equals danger. But it's an outdated survival mechanism. Today, no audience is a threat to your existence. Yet your body still reacts, as if it is. To grow past this, we must train our mind and condition our body to respond differently. Mental preparation, the power of self-talk. Your thoughts create your emotions. And your emotions shape your performance. Before you ever walk on stage, your mindset has already set the tone. That's why elite speakers use one of the simplest yet most powerful tools in psychology: self-talk. Repeat this before every speech. I am confident. I am calm. I like myself. I'm prepared. This is going to go well. Sounds too easy? It isn't. Brian Tracy recommends the phrase, I like myself. Say it out loud, again and again. It builds self-esteem, rewires your brain, and starts to dissolve fear. The more you say it, the more you believe it. And the more you believe it, the more confidently you'll speak. Visualize success before you begin. Next comes visualization. Close your eyes. See yourself walking confidently to the front of the room. See yourself standing tall, speaking clearly, smiling, and connecting with the audience. Feel their applause. See their nods. Hear your voice, strong and steady. Visualization is mental rehearsal. And just like athletes picture the finish line before they run, you too can prime your nervous system to expect success. Your brain doesn't know the difference between something vividly imagined and something real. So give it the right movie to play. Systematic desensitization, practice to destroy fear. Now comes the most practical and powerful technique of all: systematic desensitization. Brian Tracy explains it this way. If you do something over and over again, especially in a safe, supportive setting, you eventually stop fearing it. You become desensitized. That's why Toastmasters works. That's why Dale Carnegie training works. That's why even simply reading aloud to friends or a mirror works. Every time you speak, you chip away at fear. Every repetition rewires your comfort zone. Even the great David Niven, British actor and public figure, admitted he threw up every single time before going on stage. But he still showed up. And eventually, his nerves became fuel. From clumsy to confident. Here's something important to remember. You will be awkward at first. You'll forget a line. You'll fumble a point. You might even shake a little. And that's okay. Every great speaker, even the masters, were once disasters. They weren't born fearless. They just kept showing up. Think of learning to speak in public like going to the gym. You don't get stronger overnight. You get stronger by showing up, struggling a little, and getting a tiny bit better every time. Confidence isn't built in silence. It's built in action. Key takeaways: confidence is trainable. Let's recap the tools of mental mastery. 1. Understand that fear is normal, but not permanent. 2. Use positive self-talk, especially, "I like myself." 3. Practice visualization, rehearse success in your mind. 4. Embrace systematic desensitization, speak often, even in small settings. 5. Accept the learning curve, stumble now, soar later. Remember, the butterflies never fully disappear. But with preparation and mindset, they can fly in formation. In the next chapter, we'll shift focus from the inner world to the outer performance, and show you how to grab any audience from the first second you speak. It's time to learn how to start strong, and never lose the room again. Chapter 4. Start strong with any audience. You walk to the front. Your audience turns their heads. And then, the clock starts ticking. In the first 30 seconds, your audience decides. Is this worth my time? Do I like this person? Should I keep listening, or start scrolling? Brian Tracy puts it bluntly. You only get one chance to make a first impression, and you must make it count. The importance of the first 30 seconds. The opening moments of your speech are like a movie trailer. If the first scene bores the viewer, they tune out, even if the rest is brilliant. That's why starting strong isn't optional. It's essential. In those first 30 seconds, your audience is subconsciously asking, is this person confident? Do they care about me? Is this going to be useful, or a waste? Your job is to immediately establish 3 things. 1. Credibility. Why should they listen to you? 2. Relevance. Why should they care? 3. Energy. Why should they keep paying attention? Brian Tracy says it best. There is no point in talking if no one is listening. So let's make sure they're listening. Grab attention, stories, questions, bold claims. Let's explore 3 powerful ways to start strong. 1. Tell a story. Stories are the speaker's secret weapon. They connect emotionally. They create curiosity. They instantly make you relatable. Example. 3 years ago, I stood backstage shaking like a leaf. I was minutes away from speaking to 800 executives, and I wanted to disappear. What happened next changed the course of my career, and it taught me everything I'm about to share with you today. Now they're hooked. They're leaning in. 2. Ask a provocative question. Questions force the brain to respond, even silently. They turn passive listeners into engaged participants. Try this. How many of you have ever felt invisible in a meeting, even though you had the best idea in the room? Immediately you've made it personal. You've created relevance. And you've made them feel seen. 3. Make a bold statement. Sometimes the fastest way to capture attention is to make a strong claim that challenges their assumptions. Example. In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to show you why everything you've learned about public speaking is wrong. It's gutsy. It's confident. And it makes people think. All right, show me. The psychological contract. But a strong opening isn't just about energy. It's also about setting expectations. In psychology, this is called the psychological contract, an unspoken agreement between speaker and audience. When you stand up, your audience silently says, "I'm giving you my time. I'm trusting you to make it worth it." And in return, they want three things. Clarity, tell me where we're going. Confidence, show me you're in control. Connection, make it about me, not you. Try this simple structure. Thanks for having me today. In the next 20 minutes, I'm going to show you the 3 biggest reasons professionals get overlooked when presenting, and more importantly, how to make sure it never happens to you again. With that one sentence, you've established purpose, promised value, created anticipation. You've fulfilled the contract. How not to start a speech. Let's quickly talk about what not to do. Avoid these common openers. Can everyone hear me okay? I'm not really much of a speaker. I didn't really prepare, so bear with me. These lines destroy credibility and set the wrong tone. Remember, your audience mirrors your energy. If you're nervous and apologetic, they'll feel awkward. If you're confident and excited, they'll lean in. Key takeaways: start like a pro. To recap, here's how to own the first 30 seconds. 1. Grab attention with a story, question, or bold claim. 2. Establish relevance. Tell them why it matters. 3. Set the psychological contract, and fulfill it. 4. Avoid weak openers that drain your presence. 5. Speak with energy, because energy is contagious. Your opening is the doorway to everything that follows. Open strong, and the room will walk through it with you. In the next chapter, we'll step into small group settings and uncover how to master meetings, lead with clarity, and speak with influence even in intimate environments. It's time to learn the art of small group leadership and speak with power, no matter the room's size. Chapter 5: Mastering Meetings with Small Groups. Not all great speeches happen on stages. Some of the most important presentations happen around a table, in a boardroom, on a video call, with just a handful of people who matter. These are the settings where careers are made, decisions are shaped, ideas are sold or dismissed. Brian Tracy reminds us that the principles of effective communication don't change based on audience size. But the stakes can feel even higher when the room is smaller and the eyes are sharper. Speaking in boardrooms and team settings. When you speak in small groups, executive meetings, team briefings, committee discussions, the dynamics shift. There's less room to hide, and more pressure to deliver clarity fast. Your listeners often know the topic. They may have strong opinions, and they expect substance over style. In these situations, your approach must be concise, well prepared, engaged in real-time dialogue. This isn't about performing. It's about leading the room. Consider this. In a boardroom, you're not just presenting to inform, you're presenting to influence a decision. And that decision may impact people, budgets, or entire strategies. That's why every word counts. The importance of clarity, brevity, and preparation. Let's break down the 3 keys to mastering these high-value conversations. 1. Clarity. Start with a clear objective. Ask yourself, what is the one message I want this group to walk away with? Make it simple. Make it sharp. Make it unmissable. Try this framework. Here's the issue. Here's what it means. Here's what I recommend. Avoid jargon. Avoid filler. Get to the point, but don't rush the point. Clarity builds trust. 2. Brevity. Time is tight. And in small group settings, attention spans are shorter than you think. Brian Tracy recommends using the 60-second rule. If you can't explain it in under a minute, you're probably not ready to say it yet. Think of your speaking time like a bank account. You only have a few dollars. Spend them wisely, or your audience will stop investing in you. Use headlines. Use structure. Land your points early. And always assume this. If you keep talking after the point is made, you're weakening it. 3. Preparation. Preparation is not optional, especially in small rooms with smart people. Do your homework. Anticipate questions. Know your numbers, your references, and your recommendations. Brian Tracy offers this rule of thumb. Every minute of presentation time should be backed by at least 5 minutes of preparation. That means for a 10-minute update, you should have nearly an hour of planning behind it. Preparation gives you confidence. And confidence gives your words weight. Handling questions and disagreement. In small meetings, the presentation often turns into a conversation, or even a debate. You may be interrupted. You may be challenged. You may be asked, "Why should we do this? What about the risks? What are the alternatives?" Here's how to handle it like a pro. 1. Stay calm and neutral. Don't take it personally. Questions are a sign of engagement, not attack. Smile. Pause. Breathe. Respond. Use phrases like, "That's a great question. Here's how I see it. Let's unpack that together." Stay solution-oriented, not defensive. 2. Use facts and frameworks. When responding to objections or disagreement, return to your data, your logic, and your structure. Use simple frameworks to stay grounded. There are 3 reasons why this makes sense. Here's how this compares to option B. Let's weigh the costs versus the long-term impact. The more prepared you are, the less flustered you'll be. 3. Read the room. Watch body language. Notice who's nodding, and who's frowning. Who's engaged, and who's zoning out. If someone seems skeptical, address it. Invite questions. Acknowledge dissent, and guide it back to solutions. People support what they helped shape. So when possible, turn opposition into collaboration. Key takeaways: small room, big impact. Here's what it takes to master meetings with small groups. 1. Speak with clarity, one message, sharp delivery. 2. Embrace brevity, less is more, especially under time pressure. 3. Be meticulously prepared, know your material and your audience. 4. Handle questions with calm professionalism. 5. Read the room, and adapt as needed. In the small room, every word has weight. Your message must be tight. Your presence must be steady. And your goal must be clear. In the next chapter, we'll go deeper into small group persuasion, how to read people, build trust quickly, and guide conversations toward action. Let's explore the psychology of influence in the next room, and learn how to negotiate, connect, and lead with speaking power. Chapter 6: Mastering Small Group Presentations and Negotiations. There's a special kind of power in a small room. You're close enough to feel the energy, to see every expression, to sense every shift in body language. This isn't just about presenting. It's about connecting, about building trust, and, when needed, negotiating outcomes that work for everyone. Brian Tracy reminds us, "The most persuasive people are those who make others feel safe, seen, and significant." Building rapport and reading the room. In small group settings, success doesn't come from slick slides or memorized lines. It comes from rapport, the invisible thread of connection that makes people lean in, listen, and agree. Rapport begins with presence. Make eye contact. Smile sincerely. Use people's names. Be genuinely interested in others, not just in your content. Here's a pro tip. Ask a meaningful question before the presentation begins, even one-on-one, like, "How's your team handling the changes this quarter?" Or, "What's your top priority this month?" That one question builds trust. It says, "I see you. I respect your role. This isn't just about me talking, it's about us." Reading the room. As you present, scan for signals. Who's engaged? Who's skeptical? Who's nodding? And who's crossing their arms? Are they leaning in, or checking their phones? These subtle cues reveal the emotional temperature of the room. When you sense resistance, don't ignore it. Acknowledge it gently. Pause. Ask, "Does this raise any questions for you?" Or, "How do you see this playing out from your side?" By inviting their input, you lower defenses and create collaboration. How to persuade effectively. Persuasion in small groups isn't about pressure. It's about positioning. It's about making your message so logical, so beneficial, and so personal that it becomes the natural choice. Brian Tracy teaches the 3 pillars of persuasion. 1. Logic. Start with clear thinking. Present your points in order. This is the issue. Here's what it means. Here's what we recommend. Use numbers, comparisons, and short, punchy statements. Example. If we delay this decision by another month, we risk losing the top candidate to a competitor. Making the offer now secures talent and avoids weeks of retraining later. 2. Self-interest. People are more persuaded by what benefits them than by general principles. Show them how your idea solves their problem, supports their goals, or reduces their stress. Instead of, "This change will streamline our system," say, "This change will save your team 3 hours of manual work each week." The more you link your message to their priorities, the more persuasive you become. 3. Emotion. Even in logical discussions, emotion drives action. Use stories. Use real-world scenarios. Help them feel the cost of inaction, or the excitement of success. For example, imagine walking into that client meeting with real-time analytics already in your hands. No more delays, no more guesswork. You've just activated both logic and imagination. Negotiating and collaborating effectively. Presentations often turn into negotiations, and that's a good thing. It means people care enough to engage. Now your job is to guide the conversation toward a win-win. Here's how. 1. Be flexible in the how, firm in the why. You can adapt your strategy, your timeline, even your tools. But stay firm on your core message and values. Say this: "I'm open to adjusting how we implement it, but I believe the goal remains essential." This shows both strength and collaboration. 2. Use silence strategically. When negotiating, don't rush to fill silence. After you make a key point, pause. Let the room absorb it. Let others speak first. Often, your most powerful moment comes after you stop talking. 3. Reflect and reframe. If someone disagrees, don't push back, reflect it. Try, "What I hear you saying is that you're concerned about the budget impact. That makes sense. Here's how we've planned for that." This disarms conflict and shows that you're listening, not just pitching. Key takeaways: influence through connection. To master small group presentations and negotiations. 1. Build rapport before you persuade. 2. Read the room, and adjust accordingly. 3. Use the 3 pillars: logic, self-interest, and emotion. 4. Stay flexible on how, but firm on why. 5. Negotiate with calm, clarity, and silence when needed. In small groups, your presence matters as much as your presentation. People are more likely to act when they feel heard, respected, and included. In the next chapter, we'll take these principles to the stage and learn what it takes to deliver powerful performances to larger audiences. Because whether you're in a small room or a packed hall, when you speak to serve, to influence, and to inspire, you speak to win. Chapter 7: Platform Mastery. The lights dim. The stage is yours. Hundreds of eyes look up, waiting, watching. This is it. The big moment. And the question is, will you shrink under the spotlight, or rise into it? Speaking to large audiences is one of the greatest accelerators of influence and authority. It's not just about being heard, it's about being remembered. Brian Tracy calls this platform power, the ability to stand before many and speak with clarity, command, and calm. Commanding the stage. First impressions matter, and when you're on stage, they begin before you even speak. How you walk onto the platform, how you stand, where your eyes go, all of it sends a message. So here's the first rule of platform mastery: own your space. Walk on stage with purpose, slow, deliberate steps. Stand tall. Shoulders back. Feet planted shoulder-width apart. Make eye contact with the audience as if you're scanning the room and connecting, person to person. Smile. Breathe. Pause. Imagine saying nothing for the first 2 seconds. Just standing there. Calm. Composed. That alone makes you magnetic. Brian Tracy teaches. People judge your competence and confidence in the first 30 seconds based on how you carry yourself. So stand like you belong. Because you do. Physical presence, gestures, and pacing. Your body speaks before your mouth does. In fact, when it comes to large audiences, your nonverbal cues are amplified. Let's break it down. Gestures. Use open, purposeful gestures that match your message. When making a list, count with your fingers. When telling a story, use hand shapes to animate the action. When making a big point, open your arms wide, as if to embrace the audience. Avoid pacing nervously or fidgeting. Stay still when delivering key points. Movement should be intentional, not anxious. Movement and stage pacing. Don't be a statue, but don't wander aimlessly either. Use the 3-point walk technique. 1. Start center stage to open. 2. Move left to engage one side of the audience. 3. Walk right for another point or story. 4. Return to center to wrap or transition. This triangle anchors your energy and creates visual variety, without looking scattered. Facial expressions. Your face tells the emotional truth behind your words. Smile when you share something uplifting. Look serious when you stress something important. Let your face feel what you're saying, it draws people in. Even in a big room, people notice. Especially those watching from screens or video feeds. Overcoming nervousness in large venues. Let's be honest. The bigger the audience, the louder the nerves. Even seasoned speakers feel butterflies, but they've learned to train them. Here's how to keep calm and carry influence. 1. Breathe and ground. Before you speak, take 3 deep breaths. Feel your feet on the stage. Press your big toes into the floor to stabilize your stance. This grounds your body and quiets the adrenaline. 2. Reframe the fear. Don't think, "I'm nervous." Think, "I'm excited." Brian Tracy reminds us. Fear and excitement are biologically similar. The difference is in labeling. So call it energy. Let it fuel your delivery, not freeze it. 3. Focus outward, not inward. Nervousness comes from thinking about yourself. Confidence comes from focusing on your audience. Shift your inner dialogue from, "What if I mess up?" to, "How can I serve these people?" You'll speak with purpose, and your nerves will shrink. Key takeaways: perform with power. To master the platform. 1. Walk tall. Own your space. Establish presence. 2. Use clear gestures, purposeful pacing, and expressive movement. 3. Control your breath and posture before speaking. 4. Reframe nervousness as energy. 5. Shift your focus from performance to service. You don't have to be flashy. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be present and connected. In the next chapter, we'll fine-tune another essential instrument, your voice. Because what you say is critical. But how you say it can be the difference between noise and impact. Let's discover the secrets of vocal mastery in Chapter 8. Chapter 8, Vocal Mastery. Your voice is your instrument. It's more than just sound. It carries emotion. It reflects energy. It makes the difference between heard and felt. Brian Tracy says, "How you say something is often more important than what you say." And that's the secret. Great speakers don't just speak, they perform with their voice. Vocal warm-ups and exercises. Before athletes compete, they stretch. Before musicians perform, they tune. And before speakers take the stage, they should warm up their voice. Here are 3 simple techniques to get your voice stage ready. 1. Diaphragmatic breathing. Place a hand on your stomach. Breathe in deeply, through the nose, and feel your belly expand. Exhale slowly. This grounds your breath and increases vocal control. Repeat 5 times before any talk. 2. Lip trills and humming. It may feel silly, but it works. Try buzzing your lips like this, brrrr, or hum a simple tune on one note. These exercises loosen your vocal cords and relax facial tension. 3. Tongue twisters. Start slow. Enunciate every syllable. Red leather, yellow leather. She sells seashells by the seashore. Tongue twisters improve articulation, so your words land clearly. Power, tone, modulation, and rhythm. Your voice has dimensions, and each one sends a message. Let's explore the 4 that matter most. 1. Power. Power doesn't mean shouting. It means projection, speaking from your chest and diaphragm, not your throat. Stand tall. Breathe deep. Let your voice carry, confidently, not forcefully. Pro tip: imagine speaking to the last row of the room. Even in a microphone, this projects confidence. 2. Tone. Tone reveals emotion. Are you excited? Curious? Serious? Compassionate? Your tone should match your message. For example, use a firm tone when sharing a key lesson. Use warmth when telling a personal story. Use urgency when inspiring action. If your tone and message don't align, the audience feels it. 3. Modulation. Modulation means varying your voice, so you don't sound robotic. Slow down, to emphasize. Speed up, to build energy. Drop your voice, to draw people in. Raise it slightly, to signal importance. Brian Tracy teaches. Monotone is the enemy of attention. Modulation keeps listeners engaged and emotionally connected. 4. Rhythm and pausing. Every great speaker knows the power of the pause. Pause, to let a point land. Pause, to create anticipation. Pause, to reset attention. Example. This strategy saved the company over $1.2 million in a single quarter. Pause. That's not a statistic. That's a shift. Pauses give weight to your words, and space for the audience to process. How to sound confident and compelling. To sound confident, you must feel confident. Or at least, train your voice to act like it. Here's how. 1. Speak slowly and clearly. Fast talk signals anxiety. 2. Lower your pitch slightly. It adds gravitas and control. 3. Use downward inflection at the end of statements. It signals certainty. 4. Smile when you speak. It warms your tone instantly. And above all, practice out loud. Brian Tracy says, your voice improves with use, but only when used intentionally. Record yourself. Play it back. Listen like your audience would. Tweak. Improve. Repeat. Key takeaways. Your voice is your signature. To master your vocal delivery. 1. Warm up your voice before speaking. 2. Project with power, from your diaphragm. 3. Match your tone to your message. 4. Modulate to keep attention. 5. Use rhythm and pauses to emphasize meaning. 6. Practice, until your voice becomes a tool of leadership. When your voice carries clarity, confidence, and character, you don't just speak. You move people. In the next chapter, we'll explore the expert tricks and techniques that top speakers use, from humor to storytelling, to create unforgettable impact. It's time to learn the tricks of the trade. Chapter 9: Tricks of the Trade. There's a reason some speakers leave a mark, long after the words are gone. They don't just deliver content. They deliver connection. They blend technique with presence, and art with science. In this chapter, we'll explore the tricks of the trade, the subtle, powerful tools that turn ordinary talks into unforgettable experiences. Humor, timing, and storytelling. Let's start with 3 of the most human and magnetic speaker tools. Humor, timing, storytelling. 1. Humor. Humor builds likability. It breaks tension. And when done right, it makes your message sticky. Example. Brian Tracy often opens with something like, "People fear public speaking more than death." Which means, at a funeral, most people would rather be in the casket than giving the eulogy. It's light, relatable, true, and it pulls people in. But here's the key. Keep humor relevant, clean, and natural. You're not a comedian, you're a communicator. If you're not naturally funny, don't force it. Use humor to support your point, not distract from it. 2. Timing. Great timing is the heartbeat of great delivery. Know when to pause, when to punch, when to let silence do the talking. Try this. When I saw the results, I didn't know whether to laugh, pause, or faint. A well-timed pause creates drama and gives your audience space to feel. 3. Storytelling. Stories are the oldest form of teaching. They create images in the mind and emotion in the heart. Brian Tracy says, "A talk without a story is like a body without a soul." So whenever possible, replace data with narrative. Instead of, "Our sales increased by 30% last quarter." Try, "Last quarter, something incredible happened. One of our sales reps, Jordan, who nearly quit 3 months ago, closed the biggest deal in company history." People remember stories, not statistics. Give your message a face, a setting, a turning point. Quotes, repetition, and rhetorical questions. Next, let's add a layer of intellectual rhythm, with quotes, repetition, and questions that stick. 1. Quotes. A great quote does 3 things. 1. Anchors your point. 2. Lends credibility. 3. Creates resonance. Examples. As Maya Angelou said, "People will forget what you said, but they'll never forget how you made them feel." Einstein once said, "If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough." Use quotes sparingly, and let them breathe. 2. Repetition. Repetition is a secret weapon for retention. It emphasizes what matters. It builds rhythm. It drives the message home. Try this structure. We need clarity in our vision. Clarity in our communication. Clarity in how we serve our customers. Repetition cements ideas and moves emotion. 3. Rhetorical questions. A rhetorical question invites the listener to reflect, without needing a reply. Example. What would it look like if you finally overcame that fear? How much more could you accomplish if you spoke with confidence? These questions activate the brain. They spark inward dialogue and deepen engagement. Adjusting on the fly. No matter how well you prepare, things will change. The projector dies. The audience shifts. The vibe feels flat. What do? You adjust on the fly. Here's how pros stay agile. 1. Read and respond. If energy feels low, ask a question. Move closer. Raise your voice slightly. If laughter lingers, pause. Let them enjoy it. Brian Tracy says, "Flexibility is a hallmark of confident speaking." 2. Have backup material. Prepare extra examples, stories, or stats, just in case you need to extend or shift gears. These backups give you freedom to flow with the moment. 3. Stay present. Your ability to pivot depends on your ability to stay in the room, not stuck in your head. If something goes wrong, smile. Breathe. Roll with it. Audiences don't expect perfection. They crave authenticity. Key takeaways. Tools of the speaking masters. To speak like the pros. 1. Use humor, timing, and storytelling to entertain and connect. 2. Sprinkle in quotes, repetition, and rhetorical questions to emphasize. 3. Stay flexible and adjust in real time. 4. Prepare extra content to adapt without fear. 5. Speak with heart, not just skill. In the hands of a skilled speaker, words become tools. Stories become bridges. And moments become memories. Next, we'll turn our attention to your physical space, and how controlling the environment can give your message even more impact. Let's learn to master the room, in Chapter 10. Chapter 10, Controlling Your Space. Even the greatest message can be lost if the environment works against you. Brian Tracy says, "Control what you can, and you'll deliver with greater confidence, no matter what happens." That means taking ownership of your space, the microphone, the lighting, the layout, and how you move through it all. Microphone, lighting, and room control. Let's begin with the basics. Microphone. Always test the mic before your audience arrives. Know how to turn it on, adjust it, and hold it, or clip it, properly. Tip: if using a handheld mic, hold it 6 to 8 inches from your mouth, pointed at your chin, not directly in front of your lips to avoid distortion. And never tap the mic, it's loud and unprofessional. Instead, ask the tech crew for a proper sound check. Lighting. Good lighting puts the focus where it belongs, on you. Avoid standing in shadows or under flickering lights. If you're being recorded or live-streamed, ask for test footage to confirm visibility. Tip: if the spotlight is too bright, step slightly to the side until you're comfortable, but still seen. Room control. Know the layout. Walk the room in advance. Where will you stand? Where's the nearest exit or window? Are there any visual obstacles or distractions? Position yourself where you can see and be seen, preferably center stage, or in front of the largest segment of the room. If possible, arrive early. Own the space before the audience arrives. This reduces nerves and eliminates surprises. Positioning, audience engagement, and handling distractions. Where you stand, how you move, and how you handle the unexpected, all shape the audience's experience. Positioning. Don't hide behind podiums. They create barriers, physical and psychological. Stand in the open. Move naturally. Make eye contact with all areas of the room. Own the space, don't let it shrink you. Audience engagement. Use gestures. Move intentionally. Ask questions. Physically turn your body toward different sections to include everyone, especially those seated on the sides or in the back. Tip: make eye contact for 2 to 3 seconds with individuals, not just a sweeping glance across the room. This creates real connection. Handling distractions. Distractions happen: phones buzz, doors slam, tech glitches. Stay poised. Try. If that phone calls for me, tell them I'm busy inspiring a room full of future leaders. Use light humor if appropriate. Then regain focus. The key? Don't let small things steal your power. Key takeaways: own the room. To control your environment. 1. Test and understand your microphone and lighting. 2. Walk the room. Control your layout and position. 3. Avoid barriers, move with confidence. 4. Engage every part of the room, connect physically. 5. Handle distractions calmly, and with style. When you control your space, you control the stage. And when you control the stage, you amplify your impact. In the next chapter, we'll explore how to end with power, creating the kind of closing that moves your audience to remember, act, and come back for more. Let's learn how to end with a bang, in Chapter 11. Chapter 11, End with a Bang. All great speeches have one thing in common: a powerful finish. The final words are what people remember. They echo in their minds. They shape the final feeling they walk away with. Brian Tracy says, "If the opening gets their attention, the close gets their commitment." Crafting a powerful closing message. Your closing isn't a summary. It's a crescendo, the emotional and intellectual peak of your talk. Start by reinforcing your core message. Example. So if you remember just one thing from today, let it be this: you already have everything you need to speak with confidence, clarity, and power. You're not just finishing, you're sealing the takeaway. Tip: mirror your opening. If you started with a story or question, refer back to it. This creates a satisfying full circle effect. The call to action. The most powerful closings invite the audience to do something. Speak to their next step, not just what they learned, but what they'll live. Try this. Don't let fear stop you. Don't wait for perfect. Raise your hand, step up, and speak. Your voice matters, and now's the time to use it. This call to action should be clear, inspiring, and doable, whether it's starting a conversation, joining a speaking group, or simply applying what they've learned today. Final emotional lift or inspiration. And not with a whisper, but with a rise. This is your final moment to move hearts, spark belief, and lift spirits. Try a quote, a story, or a personal truth. There's a voice inside you, one that's been waiting to be heard. Speak with it. Lead with it. The world is listening. Speak with passion. Pause. Let the silence land. Then walk off. Knowing you've not just spoken. You've moved them. Key takeaways. Close like a leader. 1. Reinforce your core message. 2. Include a bold and clear call to action. 3. Deliver a final emotional lift. 4. End strong, and walk off with confidence. The end of your talk is the beginning of their transformation. Chapter 12. Making persuasive sales presentations. Every time you speak, you're selling something. An idea. A solution. A shift in thinking. A product, a service, even yourself. Brian Tracy reminds us. All successful people are master persuaders, and the best persuaders are the best speakers. Whether you're selling in a meeting or on a stage, the tools of persuasive presentation are universal. The psychology of influence. Persuasion is not manipulation. It's alignment, connecting what you offer with what your audience already wants. To persuade, you must understand how people decide. According to Brian Tracy, there are 3 key psychological triggers. 1. Self-interest. People don't buy products, they buy benefits. They ask, "What's in it for me?" Your job is to link your message to their goals, values, or frustrations. Instead of, "This service increases operational efficiency," say, "This will save you 2 hours a day and help you hit targets faster with less stress." 2. Social proof. We trust what others trust. Show that others have said yes, and why they're glad they did. Over 1,200 clients in 16 countries use this system, and 93% reported measurable ROI in the first quarter. That's credibility. That's confidence. 3. Emotion. People make decisions emotionally, then justify logically. So use emotion carefully. Paint the cost of inaction. Create a vision of success. Tell a story that resonates. One client was on the verge of burnout. After using our system, they got their evenings back, and still hit every target. It's not just a pitch. It's hope in action. Structuring persuasive talks. Every persuasive presentation needs structure, like a staircase that leads to yes. Here's a proven 5-step framework you can follow. Step 1. Problem. Open by identifying the audience's pain point or goal. Make them nod. Make them feel seen. Most teams lose 10 to 15 hours a week to task duplication, without even realizing it. Step 2. Promise. State the solution simply and clearly. Don't bury the lead. Today, I'll show you a system that can eliminate that waste and streamline everything in 3 steps. Step 3. Proof. Use data, testimonials, and stories to validate your promise. Companies that adopted this saw a 28% increase in productivity and higher morale. Step 4. Process. Walk them through how it works. Use visuals, steps, or metaphors. Make it digestible. Think of it like GPS for your workflow, guiding each task to the right person at the right time. Step 5. Proposal. Now ask for the decision. Let's get started today. I'll walk your team through setup, and in 1 week you'll see results. Be direct. Be clear. And own the moment. How to close with confidence. The close is where many speakers hesitate. Don't. Here's how to close like a pro. 1. Summarize with strength. Restate the core benefits simply. This solution saves time, reduces stress, and helps your team do more with less. 2. Ask for a clear action. Never leave them guessing. Invite them to act. Let's schedule your team's onboarding session today. Or, here's a link to start your free trial. It takes 60 seconds. 3. Smile and stay silent. Say your final sentence. Then smile. And wait. Brian Tracy's advice? Silence after a close is powerful. Let the decision hang in the air, and give them space to step into it. Key takeaways: sell with substance and style. To master persuasive presentations. 1. Tap into self-interest, social proof, and emotion. 2. Follow the 5-step structure: problem, promise, proof, process, proposal. 3. Close with clarity, confidence, and conviction. Every great sales presentation is a gift. You're not pushing, you're offering possibility. So speak with belief, and close with courage. In our final chapter, we'll step back to reflect, and give you the ultimate blueprint for speaking, not just to succeed, but to grow, lead, and win. Conclusion: becoming a master communicator. You've just completed a journey through the most essential skills of powerful public speaking. From your first word to your final impression, every chapter, every technique, every moment has been designed to help you do one thing: speak to win. Let's revisit what you've learned. 1. How to structure, deliver, and refine your message. 2. How to overcome fear and command confidence. 3. How to engage small groups and large audiences. 4. How to use voice, gestures, stories, and space. 5. And how to close with clarity, persuasion, and purpose. The 4 Ds of speaking excellence. Brian Tracy teaches that mastery in any field, including speaking, comes down to 4 powerful decisions. We call them the 4 Ds. 1. Desire. You must want to grow. The desire to connect, lead, and make a difference through your voice is the spark that lights your fire. 2. Decision. Decide that you will become a great speaker. Not someday. Not maybe. But now. Make the commitment, and own it. 3. Discipline. Show up. Practice. Rehearse. Whether it's 5 minutes a day or 5 speeches a month, consistency is the bridge between potential and power. 4. Determination. Push through doubt. Embrace feedback. Refuse to give up, even when the nerves, the silence, or the awkward pauses show up. Because they will. And so will your growth. These 4 Ds are more than principles. They're your foundation. Final inspiration and encouragement. The world needs more voices like yours. Voices with purpose. With passion. With power. So stand up. Speak clearly. And trust that what you have to say matters. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be real, ready, and willing. From now on, every meeting, every pitch, every conversation is your stage. Step into it. Share and subscribe for more audiobooks. If this audiobook inspired you, helped you grow, or gave you new tools to lead with your voice, share it with someone who needs it. Subscribe to this channel or platform for more powerful, life-changing audiobooks coming soon. Together, let's raise the standard of communication, one voice at a time. This has been Speak to Win: How to Present with Power in Any Situation, based on the book by Brian Tracy. Thanks for listening. Now go and speak to win.